studying what about the craniosacral, because I heard from her the first time that craniosacral is what would be a response to all the tension and what would help the body to get in its function and to heal itself. It was more connected with the fluids, if I'm...
Not exactly, because the fluids were a certain explanation in the 80s because we didn't have a better explanation. But if we're going to the... And listen, the understanding and most of the research that we are talking about the fascia, we're talking that mostly was started in the beginning of the 21st century, 2001, 2, 3. And we had the first international congress in 2007 in Boston. So we are not going 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. We're talking about a couple of years ago. So all the information is rather new. And the warning thing is in most textbooks of medicine, it's not appearing yet. So I hope it will change in the next couple of years. But it's frightening that this information that is so important is hidden. But you can go to some websites, some research website, where it's exposed.
Can you give me one?
Yeah, you can go easily to somebody that I visited 2 months ago. You can go to fasciaresearch.com, which is operated by University of Ulm in Germany, which they're having their research center dedicated to fascia, teaching and knowledge base. And you can go to places like Professor Gimbertou from France, that he's having his own website, and he did research on in vivo on human beings, not on cadavers, because he's a plastic surgeon, so he recorded his patients, and he showed for the first time how the fascia in gross is working. And he's shouting for a couple of years that we have to take a big leap and change in our understanding of the body, but still I don't see it happening. But for therapists that are treating the body, this is remarkable because this changed the complete idea of what we do. Because you know, when you touch the body, you're not touching any muscle, you're touching superficial fascia. And the superficial fascia, as we know now, is the area where most of the superficial blood vessels and nerves are located. All of them are located there. And this is a very strong and thick layer. But we are not regarding it because it's actually covering the muscles, and it's creating, you know, a sort of a U on the muscle. So we used to clean it. But this is a very, very important tissue, because most of our communication with the body is via this system, because this system is enveloping us completely from our scalp, from our hair, completely to down to our tiptoes. And we are not considering as important, but we know that the amount of sensors in this tissue is a couple of folds more than any other tissue in the body. And on the other hand, we know that the tissues are moving. They are like what we call smooth muscle, like muscles of the, for example, of the intestine, which means they are alive, they are moving, they are reacting. And you can see when you are in a bad mood that you have difficulty of running or doing something physically because your fascia is actually crimping. So this is something we know for thousands of years, but now we know why. But this why is only available to some people who are really becoming mad like me about this subject. So most of the people, even a lot of doctors, are not aware of this revolution in the last couple of years. So I'm just a little soldier in the war for coming to the truth or to the light. And again, I would like to finish with a point that I started. Everything is about love. And we are afraid so much about love that we cannot confront it. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. So we have a new battle to fight.
Yeah, but it's worthy. It's a battle of love.
Absolutely.
So I think it's worthy.
So in your practice, in all these years, about 20 years, if I'm not wrong, all the
Much
different,
more.
or much more.
Sorry.
You look very young, so you really came on your own through practice to to this understanding. And so what are the techniques that you share
No,
here?
let's say that I wasn't satisfied with the answer I got, so I went on to learn. And at my time, the internet was not available so much. So now everybody can enter and look and search and get answers within minutes. My time to get the information was really difficult, but it's changed. But you ask me what sort of techniques, or I believe that the first technique that I tumbled on was osteopathic techniques. But by the same token, my teacher in the US taught me biofeedback, which was very interesting for me, which means for the first time I saw how the muscle is working on a machine. And I knew to differentiate between two muscles or something. But again, this is not perfect. But it's a tool to allow us for understanding what is going on. And when I'm talking in Bulgaria about machinery that physiotherapy should have, they're looking at me like I'm from another world. Because I know that they are definitely underpaid, and I know they're striving so much to become better, but there is no support. So, you know, in my country it's the same, but definitely here the cost is almost nil, even for seasoned people. So, but it's all, from my opinion, it's all started around the time that after the war between the North and South in America, and the creation of osteopathy, and afterwards followed a lot of ideas, and one of them was the idea of Hahnemann about homeopathy, and a lot of big people came out in the turn of the 20th century. Big people. Part of them were condemned by the medical profession as charlatans, but these charlatans actually were sightseers, which means they saw things that other people could not see. I'm not trying to see so far, because I know what the end could be, but I'm trying just to expose ideas that are already known, because I think we should, as human beings, share knowledge. And I see a sort of blossoming of so many ideas in so many areas, and I hope that, like the area that I'm here in the beginning of May, and everything is blossoming and it's so beautiful, and I hope that Bulgaria will deserve whatever it needs in this regards. So I'm here just to mend or to do some little things on this behalf.
And what about this very simple, it looks like wrapping of...
You're talking about kinesiotaping?
Yeah, the kinesiotaping.
Well, this is a genius idea developed by Dr. Kenzo Kase from Japan, and really genius. And honestly, I'm not sure that when he developed it, he knew everything like he knows now, but definitely it's a genius work, because at that time, nobody understood what the tension over the skin can influence inside. But now we know that our body is a whole pressure system. So if the pressure is deviating, then the system is not healthy. And we can, with the help of a simple piece of cloth with a little bit of glue, create or mend the deviating pressure and create a sort of a healing process. And this is really remarkable, and we have definitely to thank him, because he came up with an idea that was worth millions and millions and millions of hours of thinking. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the benefit of his ideas to the health of so many people and athletes, and I mean mainly in the area of physical medicine. But you know that we are using this kind of tapes for internal medicine and for other problems per se. So I think it's one of the greatest ideas of the 20th century. But then again, maybe I'm a little bit biased, because I'm also a teacher, and I like this person very much. So
no, I tested it on myself.
Yeah. The funny thing that even if you don't know exactly what's going on, you can bring some comfort, even if you don't know. Of course, if you are knowledgeable, you are able to know exactly what's going on. The major part that I'm concerned, because the knowledge base is dwindling, and lots of companies are entering the market because it's so successful, so everybody wants to take part in the pie of success. But the funny thing that we know that medicine is time dependent. And in my clinic, I'm treating so many people who took so-called the drug or the tape and got hurt because they left the tape too much. And now we know that for every kind of problem, there is a specific time slot. So if we are going too far, it may create a reverse effect. And it's becoming more and more evident the last couple of years. So Dr. Kase is working very hard in order to improve the tape and to create something that will be more beneficial, while the other are sticking to a much stronger tape where they don't understand the equation of time versus stress on the body. So in the courses, we're trying to be very comprehensive about it, and at least I hope that major part of my students understanding this relationship.
Because again, it's individual and it cannot be put under
Definitely.
a line and say, okay, for this you put like this. Yeah, that's
Definitely not protocol driven, even though we like to work according to protocols, but definitely we have to assess the body first of all. And each one of us is different. That's the beauty, and this is the complexity, and we have to accept it because it's us.
fantastic.